Hey everybody, Jarrett Rushing, Field Staffer for Arky Lures here today at my home. And right now my family and I are taking advantage on this nice cool spring day and we're walking the gravel roads. That's right, we're letting the kids burn off some energy, picking up rocks, picking up sticks, going out in the woods, smelling things, tasting things, just doing what country kids like to do. Y'all, the one thing that I found about this little walkabout though was that I had a lot of time for self-reflection. Now the thing is, I haven't been able to get on the water near as much here lately as what I'd like to, but I have been able to sit back and think of some of the cool trips that I've been on over the course of this fishing journey and some of the tournament wins, some of the tournament struggles, really wrap my mind around some of the things that I will improve on whenever the COVID-19 crisis lifts and we're able to get back out on the water. One of the cool things that I reflected on, though, was the opportunity that I had earlier this year to go to Lake Dardanelle and fish with the host of Stihl's Real Outdoor TV and the host of the Ultimate Match Fishing television show, Mr. Joe Thomas. Y'all, that was a great trip. I learned so much from Joe. To be honest, we didn't catch a lot of fish. Dardanelle was being extremely stingy that time of year. The water had fluctuated quite a bit over the last couple of days, but we still got out there and we tried to get them. So what I want y'all to do is look at some of the content that we filmed on that boat. We were able to take some of the footage thanks to Mr. Jim Kramer and compile it for this YouTube video. And once we get done, we're going to come back and kind of review what we did. I hope y'all enjoy. There should be five right there. There should be fish all in here.
That's what they feel like. Dude, I pitched that jig up there on that bush, and I picked up, and it was just dead slack. And I go, and I look, my line was streaking. I mean, this water is 54 degrees, and that fish acted like he was 74 degrees. I mean, streaking. Yeah, it's about the 9 billionth fish I've caught on an Arky jig in my lifetime. That little Dardanelle guy. Right there. Fish, biggin.
Oh, good fish.
I thought it was, man.
He fooled me. Bass?
No, it's a bass. He had me behind that branch, and it fooled me. It's a nice one.
Bass.
It's a nice one. Nice Arkansas River bass.
Can we lip him?
Yeah, you might want to lip him. He's barely hooked. He just barely hooked. Whoa, he's gonna jump. Coming in, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, come on, hang in there, big boy. Hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. Hang in there. Just like you knew what you was doing. He ate that old KVD, didn't he?
He did.
Seriously, it hit that limb, and you know how that square bill will walk across it, and it walked and it just stopped. I thought, dang, it hit another limb. And I held it there. And then I felt the old head shake, but that's a nice bass.
Good one.
Springtime bass.
Good one.
And the fact that you were hung up made me catch that fish.
Yeah,
I literally,
he didn't have to tell everybody.
he hung his bait up in that corner, and I was backing up. I'd have probably blew right by this fish.
It's a good one.
Beautiful fish, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this is just textbook cold springtime dirty water fishing. I mean, this Arkansas River chain it's famous, for the backwaters and just fishing visible cover. The grass and the vegetation aren't really up yet, so we're basically kind of targeting the deeper banks near the back where we got just a little bit of water and we got laydowns and just any hard cover. And I think pretty much we're going to stick to what we're using. We're just going to stick with that little square-billed crankbait, that KVD 1.5, and I'm flipping that 3/8 Arky jig and just mixing it up. When we get a little open stretch, we'll crank a little bit, and if you get a good looking piece of cover, flip your jig into it and just cover water. And I think typically, the day will get better as the sun warms up. We've already seen the water temperature tick up a couple of degrees, and I think it's just going to get better and better and better. I mean, it's literally the first day after a massive front. Jared, I told you on the phone that the last time I had been to Lake Dardanelle was almost 10 years ago. I mean, I love this lake. I fished tournaments on this lake. We had ultimate match fishing on this lake. And I was dying to come back, but I needed a little intel. And you talked me into coming back. What is it about this lake that you like so much in the springtime?
I love just the overall diversity of the lake. You know, you think about what all you can fish here. You've got laydown, steep banks, rocks, grass flats, all kind of vegetation, and you know, it's a fisherman's dream up here, especially pre-spawn.
Yeah, and it being a river system, it makes it unique. You got the main river, you got a lot of current, and this time of year, that's really not the place to be. They come into these backwaters, and you kind of you get a captive audience. I mean, all of them flood in here. I think their ultimate goal, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to spawn in here, right?
Let's hope so. That's the reason we're trying for them, and you know, we're right now we're just looking for 5 bites at this point.
Yeah. A lot of people might call what we're doing trash fishing, but I just think it's bass fishing 101. Shallow cover, stained water. You're not going to get offshore. You're not going to fish out in the open river. You're going to get in the backwaters. A square bill, a spinnerbait, a jig, heavy line. It doesn't get any better than that.
There he is.
Big one? I think that might be a good one, dude.
Nah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Chunker. He was right on the edge of that hyacinth, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Got that shad color?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got back in this pocket here and started seeing them shad flicking, and gave a little bit of a color change.
Yeah. I pick up a jig, and of course they go back to biting the crankbait. Nice job. Just, you act like you've done that before. Once or twice?
Once or twice.
You don't get excited. See, I get excited. I'm fired up all the time.
No, here's the deal. I told you that 4 o'clock hour.
The 4 o'clock hour.
Finally.
Good for you, man. Nice.
Finally. Man, as you can tell, that was a cool day of fishing. Day I'll never forget. But y'all, we got a storm front moving in right now, so I'm gonna try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. But seriously, y'all, that was such a good trip, such an amazing opportunity. I got to fish with somebody who I have followed ever since I started watching FLW and the Ultimate Match Fishing Championship Series. Y'all, Joe is an amazing guy, and what you see on TV is what you get. Huge shout out to his cameraman and producer, Jim Kramer, as well. Man, I'll tell you, if you ever get around them both, you can tell the chemistry is there, and those guys really feed off of one another, and it is a laugh a minute, I promise you. So to kind of recap what we did on Dardanelle, again, I told y'all it was stingy. We didn't catch many fish. We settled in on a shallow water pattern, and as you could tell, we primarily threw 2 baits. That was the Strike King 1.5 square bill crankbait and Old Trusty, the 3/8 ounce Arky original jig. Now the jig we threw in black and blue with the black and blue Arky crawdad trailer, and in the square bill we threw 3 or 4 different colors: black and chartreuse, gizzard shad, sexy shad. I threw crawdad for a little while, or the chili craw. Just couldn't make them hit it, but we still had a really good time. And although we didn't just load the boat up, I learned so much from being able to sit in the boat with him, talk with him, visit with Joe. He's just, like, again, he's an amazing guy. Now, what I want y'all to do, if y'all don't mind, go out and like this video, comment on it. Tell me what you would have done differently, because I'm all ears. Again, I fished that lake or that river system for 3 days and only caught about 6 fish over a 3-day period. I was struggling really bad on there, but the water was fluctuating, temperatures were rising and falling. It was a really tough time to fish. So if you had any suggestions, I'm all ears. So go out, like the video, comment, share it, do whatever you got to do, and don't forget to like this channel and get the bell on, y'all. Make sure you click that bell so you get notifications whenever we post a new video. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, we're going to try to avoid this big frontal system, and like always, y'all keep chunking.